The news arrived on a Tuesday morning, transmitted through quantum channels that humanity had painstakingly established over 3 decades. Lisa stood in the observation deck of the Terran Embassy station, her fingers trembling as she read the Galactic Council's decree for the 3rd time. Behind her, Vin Diesel leaned against the reinforced viewport, his jaw set in that familiar expression she'd come to recognize. Over their years of diplomatic service together, "They're really doing it," Lisa whispered, her voice barely audible over the hum of the station's life support systems. "After everything we've contributed, everything we've shared, they're voting us out." Vin Diesel pushed off from the wall and walked to her side, his boots echoing in the empty observation deck. The galaxy sprawled before them, millions of stars twinkling with indifference to the political machinations unfolding across its spiral arms. "Read the justification again," he said quietly. Lisa's eyes scanned the holographic text. "Too aggressive, too unpredictable, too willing to question established norms. Humanity poses a destabilizing influence on the carefully balanced galactic civilization." She laughed, but there was no humor in it. 30 years, Vin. 30 years of playing by their rules, of bending over backwards to fit into their perfect little society. And in those 30 years, what did we really gain? Vin Diesel asked, his voice thoughtful rather than bitter. He gestured toward the starfield beyond. "The Vraxian Empire gave us outdated FTL technology they'd abandoned centuries ago. The Kellian Confederacy shared agricultural techniques that barely worked on Earth's biosphere. The Zephyrite Collective offered us trade agreements that heavily favored their merchants." Lisa turned to face him fully. As humanity's chief xenobiologist, she'd spent more time among alien species than most humans alive. She'd learned 17 languages, memorized countless cultural protocols, and genuinely tried to build bridges between humanity and the stars. But we learned so much. The medical advances alone came from human researchers adapting alien concepts that the aliens themselves had given up on improving. Vin Diesel interrupted gently. "Lisa, be honest with yourself. What innovations have we actually received versus what we've given?" She wanted to argue, but the words died in her throat. He was right, and she knew it. Humanity had shared quantum computing breakthroughs, revolutionary energy technologies, and artistic expressions that had captivated species across dozens of worlds. In return, they'd received scraps and condescension. "The vote is scheduled for tomorrow," Lisa said finally. 347 species will decide whether humanity deserves a place in galactic society. And we both know how it will end. Vin Diesel pulled up his own holographic display, scrolling through diplomatic cables. "The Vraxians have been lobbying against us for months. They're afraid we'll expose how stagnant their empire has become. The Kellians resent that our food production innovations made their agricultural worlds less valuable. And the Zephyrites," he paused, shaking his head, "they never forgave us for refusing their monopoly on rare earth elements." Lisa sank into one of the observation chairs, suddenly exhausted. "So what do we do? Fight the vote? Make impassioned speeches about unity and cooperation?" "No." Vin Diesel's voice carried a strange note of excitement that made her look up sharply. "We do something the galaxy will never expect. We agree with them." "What?" He began pacing, his movements animated in a way she hadn't seen since their academy days. "Think about it, Lisa. They're right, we don't fit in their galaxy. Their civilization is built on tradition, hierarchy, and maintaining the status quo. They've been recycling the same technologies and ideas for millennia. Why? Because innovation is dangerous. Change is threatening. And humanity, we're all about change." Lisa felt something shift in her chest, a weight beginning to lift. "You're saying we walk away. I'm saying we sprint away," grinning the whole time. Vin Diesel pulled up a new display, showing graphs and projections that made her eyes widen. "While we've been playing diplomat, Earth hasn't stopped innovating. We've developed technologies the Council doesn't even know about because we stopped sharing, after we realized they weren't sharing anything worthwhile in return. Our fusion drives are 3 generations ahead of galactic standard. Our AI integration is sophisticated enough that the Council would probably ban it out of fear. Our bioengineering capabilities your field are producing results that would make the Kellians weep. But we'll be alone," Lisa said, though her voice lacked conviction, will we? Vin Diesel expanded the display, showing a map of human expansion. In 30 years with the Council, we've established 12 colony worlds. In the last 5 years alone, working independently, we've founded 37. Not because the Council approved them, but because we stopped asking for permission. There are 63 species who've quietly approached Earth for trade, and technology-sharing species too small or too rebellious to qualify for Council membership. Outcasts like we're about to become, Lisa stood, moving to stand beside him as she studied the data. Humanity hadn't been idle. While their diplomats smiled and nodded in council chambers, human scientists, engineers, and explorers had been building something else entirely. A network, an alternative. When they vote us out tomorrow, Vin Diesel continued, we won't beg to stay. We'll thank them for making our decision easier. We'll recall every human from Council space, tear down these embassies, and redirect all those resources into our own expansion. Let them keep their stagnant, fearful civilization. We'll build something better. They'll see it as a threat, Lisa warned. Good. Vin Diesel grinned, and Lisa found herself grinning back. Let them worry about what humanity is doing out there beyond their borders. Maybe fear of being left behind will finally motivate some innovation. The next day, when the Galactic Council formally voted to exclude humanity from galactic civilization, 347 votes in favor, 0 against. The human delegation didn't protest. They didn't appeal. They simply stood, thanked the Council for the educational experience, and walked out with their heads high and smiles on their faces. Lisa and Vin Diesel were the last to leave, pausing at the threshold of the Grand Chamber. Behind them, 347 species watched in confusion as humanity simply left. No threats, no anger, just two humans grinning at each other before turning their backs on the galaxy. Ready to build something amazing? Vin Diesel asked. I've never been more ready, Lisa replied. And humanity walked away, leaving the galaxy to wonder what they'd just unleashed.